today I'm going to be going over my award predictions for this season, or who I would give the award to based on this season. Before we get into this video, make sure to subscribe, leave a like, and comment what you disagreed with, agreed with, and some of your opinions and who you think should win some of these awards. But without further ado, let's get into our first award, which is Offensive Rookie of the Year. I know it was a two-man race, at least amongst the quarterbacks, with Daniels and Nix. But you could also throw Brock Bowers in there, as he's going to be probably a first-team All-Pro as a rookie. He arguably was the best tight end this season. I just think they tend to favor quarterbacks, and I think they will favor quarterbacks. So I did go with the quarterback for my Offensive Rookie of the Year winner, and I went with Jayden Daniels, with my runner-up being Bo Nix. I just think that the season Jayden Daniels had, the fact that he led the Commanders, a team who definitely did make improvements, but I didn't think they'd win 12 games like they did. He got them to a 6 seed. They could have still won the NFC East, and he got Pro Bowl nods as a rookie. He threw for about 3,500 yards. I think he ranked 14th in passing yards. He was tied for 8th in touchdowns with 25. One of the people he's actually tied with was Bo Nix, which is kind of funny. He had 9 picks, 69% completion percentage. He had the 9th best quarterback rating at about 100. He was second in rushing yards amongst quarterbacks, just behind Lamar. I think he broke the record for most rushing yards by a rookie. He had 6 rushing touchdowns as well, which was second amongst quarterbacks, and only 3 fumbles. Bo Nix had a great year. Brock Bowers had an incredible year. I just think they go towards quarterbacks, and I think Jayden Daniels had the better season when comparing him and Bo Nix. But the rookie quarterbacks and the offensive rookies overall in this class, if you throw in Malik Nabers, Brian Thomas, Marvin Harrison, and all those guys, it was an insane offensive rookie class. Moving on to the defensive side, with the Defensive Rookie of the Year, it's pretty much a two-man race here with probably Quinyon Mitchell and Jared Verse. However, I did go with Jared Verse as my Defensive Rookie of the Year, with Quinyon Mitchell being the runner-up. I just think the fact that, again, Jared Verse made the Pro Bowl, he not only was one of the best rookies on defense and one of the best rookie pass rushers, he was one of the better pass rushers in the league. He had 4.5 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries, 2 pass deflections, 11 TFLs, 18 QB hits. He was tied second in hurries with 53, with quarterback hurries with 53, and he was 4th in pressures with 74. And that's in the league. He was 4th in pressures out of everybody, and he was tied second in quarterback hurries out of everybody. So it wasn't just one of the best rookie edge rusher seasons or defensive rookie seasons. It was one of the best, or this year at least. He was one of the best edge rushers in the league in general as a rookie, and I think him and Braden Fisk together had a great season. But I think Jared Verse gets the edge over Quinyon Mitchell. But Quinyon was a top corner as well, just amongst all corners. Moving on to our Offensive Player of the Year. It was Saquon for most of it, and then it was it was Saquon versus Derrick Henry, and then Saquon took the lead there. But Ja'Marr Chase he also entered that conversation. However, I'm going to give it to Saquon, with my runner-up being Ja'Marr Chase, not Derrick Henry. I know Ja'Marr Chase won the Triple Crown, which only I think 5 other players have done, recently done by Cooper Kupp. I just don't think I think they value a 2,000 rushing yard season more than Triple Crown. And Saquon did almost break a record. He could have broke it against the Giants. He had 2,005 rushing yards, 725 receiving yards, 11 touchdowns on the ground, 4 in the air, 91 receptions. Again, nearly broke Eric Dickerson's record. He made the Pro Bowl. It was him, Derrick Henry, or Chase. And I decided between Barkley or Chase because Chase won the Triple Crown. Barkley got 2,000 yards and almost broke the record. I'm just personally going to give it to Saquon because, I think they value a 2,000-yard rusher more. And I just think since Saquon, he did it. I know he has a good O-line, but he's coming into a new team, first year. There's all the debates about paying running backs, and he just has this incredible season, which is why I'm giving my Offensive Player of the Year to Saquon. Next is the Defensive Player of the Year. I think the betting favorite is TJ Watt currently. However, I'm going with Patrick Surtain, PS2, to be my defensive player of the year, with TJ Watt being the runner-up. I wanted to sneak Nick Bonito in, but I think he's just going to fall just short. But going off Pat Surtain's stats, he had 4 INTs. He had a pick six, and it was like a 97, 99-yard pick six. He had 11 pass deflections, 1 fumble recovery, 42 tackles, 1 TFL. He gave up 30 receptions on the year or about 30 receptions, about 200 yards allowed. I think he allowed a passer rating about 50, and he only allowed 2 touchdowns. I might have said that already. Again, Pro Bowl, best corner in football, undoubtedly. I think TJ Watt isn't undoubtedly the best pass rusher in football. I think you can throw Myles Garrett, maybe even if you want to put Trey Hendrickson in there. But I think PS2 is undoubtedly the best corner in football. He shuts down pretty much every receiver he goes against. And I didn't want to pick the favorites in every single award, and I think PS2 is second. So I gave PS2 my Defensive Player of the Year for this season. Now we have our Comeback Player of the Year. I'm pretty sure I saw something that they're changing the rules where it's only like injury based, where you have to come back from an injury to win Comeback Player of the Year. I don't know if that's going to be next year or if it's in effect this year, but regardless, my pick isn't going to be based off that because I think that rule is kind of stupid. But my Comeback Player of the Year is going to be Sam Darnold. Runner up, Joe Burrow. He did come back from the injury and have it. Joe Burrow, coming back from the injury, had an amazing season. He probably should have won MVP. He probably should win MVP, to be honest. And he might have won MVP if his defense was good. Doesn't really make sense to me that you need a good defense to win MVP, but I wanted to give Comeback Player of the Year to Sam Darnold because although Joe Burrow had a bad injury, we know how good Joe Burrow is. What Joe Burrow is doing this season isn't surprising any of us. What Sam Darnold is doing this season has shocked everyone. He hasn't really done much. High pick, didn't work out with the Jets, didn't work out with the Panthers. He had that one game with the Niners, and then he signs with the Vikings, and he just has an insane season. 4,000 yards, 35 touchdowns, 12 picks. Leads the Vikings to a 14-3 record. I know they had a good defense, but their offense was just as good. 106.4 quarterback rating. He was insane. He was incredible for the Vikings. One of the best quarterbacks in the NFC, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He was in MVP conversations early on in the year. And I just wanted to give him the Comeback Player of the Year because no one saw it coming. You could expect Joe Burrow to have the season he had, but you did not expect Sam Darnold to have that type of season. Now, Sam Darnold was my breakout player for the Vikings. I didn't expect this, but I saw a good season out of Sam Darnold coming, but he even blew those expectations out. It was just a great season overall for Sam Darnold. He has now got himself back into the league as a starting caliber quarterback. So that's why I have him as my Comeback Player of the Year. Now, before we get into the MVP, the one everyone cares about, also want to go over my Coach of the Year pick. For me, it was between Dan Campbell and Kevin O'Connell, the two coaches that are coaching, that just coached the Sunday night game between the Vikings and Lions. And I don't know if this has any fact. I don't know if that game had any influence. It might have had some influence over my pick. And that's why my Coach of the Year is going to be Dan Campbell, with Kevin O'Connell being the runner-up. I know what Kevin O'Connell did with Sam Darnold, who we were just talking about how no one expected him to have the season he had, is very impressive. And I know the Lions have a very good team. They have like some of the best players at each position. Like they have one of the best quarterbacks, running backs, receiver, every position pretty much. But they had so many injuries, especially on defense, losing your best player, Aiden Hutchinson. And despite all the potential controversial or questionable decisions that the Lions make, that Dan Campbell makes during games, going for it, punts, going for it on fourth, fake punts, whatever, they still win games. And all the injuries they faced, they still won games. And they got 15 wins, most in history, in franchise history. They got the 1 seed. The NFC runs through the Lions. And I don't think you can argue that Dan Campbell deserves to be the Coach of the Year after coaching record-wise the best team, tied for the best team in the league, and he just beat the other candidate, in my opinion, Kevin O'Connell. They destroyed the Vikings. The game wasn't even close. So that's why my coach of the year is Dan Campbell. Lastly, the MVP. Is it Lamar Jackson or is it Josh Allen? Or is it Joe Burrow? They're probably not going to give it to Joe Burrow because his defense wasn't good and the record wasn't good. So it's probably between Lamar and Josh Allen. Early on in the year, it was it was Josh Allen, especially because the Ravens not only had Derrick Henry have his great season, so they were kind of like Lamar doesn't have as good of a cast because he has Derrick Henry now, and the Ravens weren't off to the best start again, also because of their defense. But it was Josh Allen. But I think these last 3 weeks have completely changed that. And in my opinion, my MVP is going to be Lamar Jackson. Because if you look at every statistical category that you can find for a quarterback, or majority of them, Lamar's beat Josh Allen in pretty much every category outside of rushing touchdowns, which is obvious because Josh Allen just gets so many of those, and then record. And it was by 1 win. Lamar had 4,172 passing yards to Josh Allen's 3,731. Lamar threw 41 touchdowns and 4 picks to Josh Allen's 28 touchdowns and 6 picks. Lamar ran for 915 yards to Josh Allen's 531. Again, Lamar only had 4 rushing touchdowns while Josh Allen had 12. Lamar's quarterback rating was 119.6 to 101.4. I believe QBR, Lamar had like 1 more QBR than Josh Allen. Completion percentage, Lamar had 66.7 to Josh Allen's 63.6. And again, record, Lamar had 12 wins while Josh Allen had 13. The only stats Lamar lost to Josh Allen was rushing touchdowns, which is obvious, and record, which was by 1 game. And honestly, every other category, outside of completion percentage and QBR, it wasn't even really close. Lamar clearly beat Josh Allen in those categories. And for a quote-unquote rushing quarterback, even though Lamar is clearly one of the better passing quarterbacks in the league, but for a guy who uses his legs as much as Lamar, to have only 4 picks to 41 passing touchdowns, he had 45 total touchdowns to Josh Allen's 40. So I just think Lamar outdueled Josh Allen in every category pretty much. Record-wise is very similar. Talent around them is very similar. Lamar has probably a little bit better talent around him, but I don't think it's by that much. And that is why I know some people think Josh Allen's going to win because the voters don't want to give Lamar another one when Josh Allen hasn't got any. But I'm not doing that. I'm doing this based on who I would give the award to. And based on the season, especially this last 3 to 4 weeks, I'm giving my MVP to Lamar Jackson, which I think would be his third. But I know it's a controversial debate that's been going on, but I'd go with Lamar Jackson. That will conclude my award predictions, or who I would give the awards to for the 2024 season. Again, as always, let me know in the comment section some of your thoughts and what you agree with or disagree with. And as always, make sure you subscribe, turn the notification on the bell on so you don't miss more. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.